Hey guys, it is Pee Wee here from Definitive Esports, and we're doing another episode from Chobo2Gosu. And of course, with me is my awesome co-host, An. How are you doing, bro?
Pretty good. I'm looking forward to Zerg. It's,
Of course you are.
My favorite race, even though I still play Terran. There's just something about it.
He's the Zerg at heart. He's a scumbag. It's okay. And yeah, we're gonna pretty much just go over Zerg units. This is a Zerg introduction episode, so we're not going to go so in depth. We're just going to go over some of the basic units of Zergs and what they do, and then we'll jump into a quick AI game to see everything come together and, you know, just kick ass. So yeah, we're already in the unit tester, as we can see, and we've already had a bit of fun just playing with some bits and bobs. But we will go over some of the units and some of the, you know, just the basic things. So of course the most basic thing we have is something called a queen, which, you know, comes from the lair or the hatchery or the hive, whatever you want to call it. And if you want to build 5 queens on. Like, queens are very slow damage dealers. They don't deal a lot. They can take a lot of damage, which is always good, but they also have some spells, and one of the key ones is something called Transfuse, which just gives them a little energy, and for that energy you give your unit health, which is 125 and takes 50 health energy off the queen for 125 health. Sorry. And yeah, obviously that makes a really big difference during fights, but we're gonna have a little fight here, and An is gonna transfuse and I am not. Okay. And you will see that all of An's queens should live if he has good control. You ready?
Ready.
Ready, go. Scumbag queens, take this. Fuse. Jeez, that fight took forever.
Yeah, it did.
Like, holy crap, that actually shows how much little damage they deal and how much they take. But yeah, as we saw, like, with the transfuses, An's queens, totally safe, no problem, easy peasy, give us more. And that's important because, of course, you always want to win the fights. So if we move on from queens, we're going to move on to the Zerglin, which is super, you know, it's the first unit you get, pretty much, from your sported pool. And it's very fast. It has the upgraded speed at the moment, so it's even faster, and it's a melee unit, which means you have to physically you know, be touching your opponent's units to deal damage to it. And of course, this is just like a basic Zerglin fight. It's just run in there, Zerglins. Obviously the better concave you have, the better. And it's kind of hard to mic you, just pull back and attack, and yeah. I think you have more than me anyway.
I think I did, yeah.
And yeah, Zerglins are crazy, they're fast, they're not good for taking on a big army. They do much better in certain scales. Normally the less Zerglins the better. If you see a big army, you kind of want to run away from it and counter attack is what you kind of do. Next we move on to Zebainlin, which is, it comes from the Zerglin, and it's pretty much just a suicidal ball of acid. Pretty much. And as we can see, we have some Zerglin v Banes. An has Banelin's speed, I don't, so this kind of goes in his favour, but Banelin's suicide with acid, they do a lot of damage, and you have to be very careful. Oh, holy crap. Oh no. And that didn't go well at all. I want some more.
Yeah, there's a lot of the control for Ling Bane it just requires a lot of finesse.
Yeah, it really does. That's a good way to put it. Finesse. I like that word.
One slip up and everything, one misclick, or one you get just a little bit too close to the Bane lane, and your entire army is gone when the fight is, fight's decided. back.
Yep. And of course. Wrong button. And yeah, like I'm not a Zerg, so I'm not very good at this compared to my co-host on here. But we're just gonna have a few little fights, just see what's going on. And of course, this thing's like when there's Zerglin v Bane, you kind of want to attack each Baneling with a single Zerglin, so they just counter them. And then you've got to, as a Zerg, you got to protect your Banelings.
Yep, so since I don't have any banelings for me, it's all about finding that opening.
Yep.
If I can pick off the whittle down my opponent's limb count.
And then the same number of Zerglings, but it's okay. Because this is a control game, so there we are. And yeah, that's kind of how it goes. So we're going to kind of show the way that Zerglings scale with surround. So if you want to build a lot of Zerglings, I'm going to build a bunch of Marines. And I only have 11, so don't go nuts yet.
Oh.
Just so you can see how it scales. So just kill these Marines. So we have this big ball of Zerglings. They're going to try and surround these Marines. And, you know, a group of Marines like that, easy peasy. But if we have a big group of Marines, and by that I mean nearly 40. Actually, no, 35. Something like that.
Ready?
Are you ready? Yeah.
Well.
They just get annihilated. So you can't. You can't constantly keep making Zerglings the entire game. You can, but as it gets later and later, the ball of your opponent's units get bigger and bigger. They're gonna trade for less,
right.
And obviously that's not what you want to be doing. You want to have the best trades you possibly can, and that just lowers it. And this moves us on to roaches then from the Zerg. So the roaches are kind of like the next step up, the next units you get. They're pretty cheap. But they're heavy on supply in comparison for that. So 2 supply, like this is why you see Zerg's supply go so fast. You know, it shoots up really fast. Like against Protoss, you see the match roach Zerg push, and it's just because you can get a lot of them really quick. And yeah, they have short range. They don't deal a massive amount of damage. They deal okay, but they shoot slowly. But they can tank quite a lot with their armor.
Sort of like queens, but much faster and do more damage.
And yeah, they're made for fighting.
Right,
See,
they're made for fighting. Queens
yeah, queens are support. So we have some roaches here. I do have more, but as we can see, we just engaged them. Let's have a little fight. Bit Michael, yeah.
Going so slowly.
Die.
Nope, that was a very one-sided fight.
Yep. And the next step to this then is to add in some hydras, because we don't have to really go, you know, everyone knows what a range unit is. We've gone over it loads of times. And the next step is you add in a few hydras, because hydras have a longer range, they do more damage, but they don't take a lot of damage. So you keep the hydras in the back.
Yep. Keep them in the back so they're protected and they can deal damage, and roaches take all the hits.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Ready.
Come for you. Yeah, bit of target fire in there.
Hey, oh, those
What?
are around.
Yeah.
Right, that's why I can't see them.
You see hydras shooting, you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, I was just so confused for a second. I think it's still too early.
Have you seen the Hydra attack animation for melee?
No.
Killed some hydras.
Yeah.
build like 3,
Okay.
and like put them away and make them attack each other, so you can see the shoot. Yeah. Oh no, that's the attack. Yeah, that's the melee attack.
That's melee, yeah.
Yeah, see, they're like and then if you shoot, see? Do you not know that? They have a melee attack when they're close. They're like
I did not know that.
Yeah, man. It's in Heart of the Swarm as well.
Huh. Learning new things every day.
Yeah, man. So that's that's kind of the basic unit compositions for the Zerg race. Now we're going to jump into the more micro-intensive stuff and the spellcasters, which is of course the Infestor.
Do you want me to build roaches or do you want me to build infestors?
Build roaches. Alright, so of course if you look at the infestors, they do something called the infested terran, which is they spawn these egg thins and they hatch into a terran marine pretty much, but for the Zerg. And they deal damage, they cost 25 energy, and you can spawn 8 from a maxed infestor, because 25 divided by 200 divided by 25 is of course 8. And yeah, next to that then they have the fungal growth, which is they lock down the units of their opponent, so that's a fungal growth. Can't move them anywhere for 4 seconds, and this entire time they deal damage. I'm wasting my energy. But at the end of the day, you can get kills, you can lock them down, you can force engagements, you can stop the retreat.
Really, yeah, the spell is incredibly versatile and also unbelievably strong.
Yeah.
When used well.
It costs 75 energy. So once you run out of energy, then your infested terrans come up and you're like, yay, boy. So if we do the same, build quite a lot of roaches. I'm going to build some roaches. And I'm going to build some infestors.
Alright.
So what's going to kind of happen, if you want to try and force an engagement and stuff. See? As we see, keep them locked down, just have a good fight,
So how many roaches did you have?
I think it was around the same as you, maybe a couple more. But of course with the infestors, the first fungal as we saw stopped about half the army actually fighting, so it was like half your army v my full army, so
exactly.
it just kind of snowballs out of control, really, doesn't it?
Yep.
That's a good way to put it. It's just, if you don't have your full army, if it's an even army v an even army, and half the army is fighting for one side, it's gonna just get stomped, and then the other half is gonna get stomped, and the other person's army is just gonna be like whatever, easy peasy, and yeah, that's never good, because of course once again you're trading ineffectively. That's something that we can't have in this game.
Yeah, it's why you see a lot of players go for the infestor, because it's also, I mean, you saw even if you had been say half the road supply, you still would have been okay with that many infestors, because the fungals are just, it's such a the fungal growth in particular is such a good way to turn the tide of battle or to fight from behind, because you can lock down huge clumps of units and instantly deal damage. You don't have to be even. If you're even with infestors, you have an advantage, and if you're behind, you can still be even because you've got that infestor and because it can decimate armies so quickly.
Yeah, it's like I've seen times where someone went, it looked like they were behind. I've seen like one in a high level DBZ. I've seen like one base infester like roll like a 2 base roach. Yeah. It's mad. You could, like, especially with good control and decision making, you could just be incredibly more cost effective.
Exactly.
So the next unit then is no. Yeah, we don't have to go over the infestor. The infestor fight, that was a bit manic. I was gonna go into yes, Mutalisks. I spelled the corruptor. Alright, so Mutalisks are the flying devils of the game. Alright, they're fast. They don't deal a massive amount of damage, but they do splash damage, which means the more mutas, the they what's the word? They scale really well. Yeah, that's the word. they scale really well. And especially with upgrades, they do even better, especially the first upgrade, because it goes something like 9 damage, 3 damage to 1/1. And that's a lot of damage. So, mirrors, they're quick, they're more designed for taking out harvesters and harassing your opponent and keeping him in his base. They're not very good at straight up fights.
Yeah.
And that's because they're pretty expensive and they don't really have a lot of health in comparison for their cost. So, there's a couple of units that shred them, and this is depending on how you control them. A couple of marines will do very well if I just build a couple more, but never mind. Get them, stim, get them.
Stim? I don't need
you don't need stim.
I don't need stim.
But if I build a ridiculous amount of meters, and if On could build some Thors. Right.
Watch this.
So as we can see, right, meters, I have 24 here, and if you look at the meters, you can see if we just leave them chill, don't push them too far forward, they're going to get shot by the 4. If we leave them like that, they just, they nicely spread out, they're happy chilling, and if you click within the space that they're in, they'll stack, and if they go to attack the same thing, they'll stack.
Right, because they'll all move. So if you click a point, they'll all of those mutas will try to move to that point.
Yeah.
At the same time, and so they end up stacking.
Yeah. And that's really bad, because against something like the Thor or the Archon, which do splash damage to air units, if they're all stacked, they're all going to take damage. So we'll see. What I mean, it's like, yeah, boy, they're flying, they're happy. It's like, boom, boom, and one more. Ah, my God. That was 4,800 resources there. And that was...
All lost.
Yeah. From the first shot that you dealt, because of the earlier shot, one Thor got 3 kills, the other got 21. I got 21. And we can also do the same with something called the Archon. Get +3 on the Archon as well, just to make them more badass. You need 3 for the one shot. Alright, okay. So, Archons have quite shorter space, so I have to fly over them. It's like, yeah, wow. Oh.
Still did one shot. Oh well.
Nearly enough. Look how much damage the Archons deal, 47. It's insane, brother.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Of course, if I build more mirrors and do it the way we were doing before, if we keep them all spread out, if you fly over your opponent's units and then hold E, they'll stay in position. Alright, so we're going to do the same over the Archons, and that will stop the splash damage.
And whole position depends, I think, on standard layout. It's 8.
Oh yeah.
It depends on which configuration you're using, but hold position, your mutas won't clump up like we showed earlier.
Yeah. Well, you can hit stop as well. Stop, hold position, both the exact same things. So, yeah, that's the basics of it. Of course,
yeah.
If do you want to build some infestors? Actually, just a couple. Same thing applies to infestors and the fungal growth on them for the mirrors. If you just fungal them when they're out in the open, like so. See, you still got them all, but they're all stacked up. But if they fly out, and then if we stack them up like that, even more damage is dealt. And boom. Get ready. Oh, one more.
Oh, no energy. No.
I have to be careful to kill them.
If you can make a couple more mutas real quick, there's one thing I wanted to show people about that.
Okay.
That I just remembered. So if you find yourself in a situation where you've got infested, they have mutas, and you're trying to fungal, you don't want to fungal where the mutas, you don't want to fungal the mutas themselves. If you look, you can see there's a little red line and a dot under each muta that shows where it is relative to the ground, and so you want to fungal that.
Yeah.
Because if I try and fungal a muta, nothing happens. Right? If I try and fungal the actual image of the muta, so you have to fungal where they are relative to the ground, those little dots, and that's how you maximize your damage.
Yeah. For anyone wondering, that is a new setting. That's called the Show Flyer's Helper thingy, and that's something that you always want on because that's where you fungal, you storm, you EMP.
Exactly. All of that is
Die.
Too good.
And that's about it, really.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, we showed everything, yeah. Okay, so are you happy to jump into an AI game?
I am happy to jump into an AI game. Who are you going to play against?
Should we play against a Terran?
A Terran.
Because Banelands do better against Terrans.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Map choice?
Onaha. Let's just go. Onaha's good map. Easy peasy, standard.
Let me add you. There we go. No! Oh, I joined the game. Alright, hold on. Thank you.
But quickly leave in case someone else joins.
Yeah. Every time. Join a game, not create a game. One of these days. I'll get it. I'll get it right. I had it right last couple times we did it, but oh well. Alright, here we go. I was wondering why I couldn't just make myself a referee. That would be why.
Alright, so let me select Zerg.
You're up against a very hard Terran. Can you do it?
I can.
Alright, you ready?
Hopefully it won't take long.
Nah. Not if you build infestors.
If we get that far.
If we get that far.
We'll try to keep it Zerglings and Banes. Just standard units.
Ling Bane should do the trick. You gonna go for fast upgrades or just Ling Bane?
Just Zerg Bane. I'll see if I can get upgrades. Speed, like.
I guess you probably wouldn't because fast upgrades are more common in the meta game where you've got a fast expanding Terran and the AI does not fast expand.
No.
Alright, so I mean there's really not much to talk about in the very beginning, just building drones again. You notice everything that Pewee will build, every unit Pewee will build comes from this hatchery, requires larvae with the exception of the queen. So that's the other big thing that comes into play when you're actually playing a game is being able to manage that larva and use it effectively. It's, people call it, I think a lot of people call it the third resource for Zerg. You don't have to worry about just minerals, just gas. You also have to worry about how much larva you have, because you can have 1,000,000 minerals, 1,000,000 gas. If you have 0 larva, you can't make anything. So the bank you have is effectively useless to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's quite a sad feeling when you're like, oh, I got so much money, I just have no lava, and you lose.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, yes.
I know that feeling well. Alright. Hatch first?
Yeah. Because I have balls of steel.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's pretty ballsy. Yes, indeed. It's going hatch first, trying to get, that economy going. In the way Zerg works, because the hatchery is, it's like your barracks and your factory and starport rolled into one, and your gateway, your robo,
and your command center,
and your command center all rolled into one. Zergs like to be a base ahead because, that's one of the reasons Zergs like to be a base ahead, because they also can keep up with production, and then because of the way Zerg units work, having more larvae is really beneficial, and being a base ahead means that you can be a little less cost efficient with Zerg. Zerg of the 3 races sometimes I think are seen as the least cost efficient unit for cost.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to reproduce the army quickly, which means you need a bigger economy. And behind that, Pewie's getting both spawning pool and the extractor. Getting himself a queen. Queens have the wonderful ability of being able to produce additional larvae for you on an interval. And so that's why in almost every game you'll ever see your Zerg players will get queens pretty quickly. They're a very versatile unit that really help with economy and also can be pretty decent defense, especially in the early game with a range of 5 in their attack. But we see Peewee sort of scouting the map now. He's got his overlords spread out. One going down the map here. One at the watchtower so you can see units coming like this SCV. He's taking both watchtowers too, so he has complete control of the middle map. And Spine Crawler, I guess just down for defense since you know something is coming.
Yeah, just playing it safe.
Playing it safe. Nothing wrong with that.
Gonna go for my Baneland Nest now.
$150.50. And going for speed. Without speed, Zerglings are still fast, but much slower. Much easier to be kited. It's much easier to kite them. It's much easier to deal with them.
They get into position slower.
Right, they get into position slower, so they take more damage getting there. So speed for 100 is usually considered a vital upgrade, with rare exceptions.
I'll probably just go for a Bane and Bust. I should be able to kill this guy's attack. Oh, this guy, the AI.
I don't want to say anything because I can actually see what's going on, as can everyone who's watching, but it's going to be interesting.
Tanks, eh?
Yeah. Ooh. I was going to say, if they had actually walled off, I don't think it would have been really difficult to have been bust. See, again, because of that watchtower, just cost him 1 lane, half a larva. Pewee can see this army moving out. Pewee also had a ling right down at the front of his opponent's base. Again, really good, separate thing, but really good scouting. Lings, one of the nice things is lings are cheap, so you can use them for a variety of things. One of them being scouting and having map presence. And so Pewee, because of his map presence, Pewee is able to really prepare. And as you see, Pewee's just going to do a close around.
Okay, I got the tank, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Tank goes down, Pewee clear up the rest. You're just going to do a counterattack now? What are you thinking?
Oh, counterattack, but I don't have much lava.
Yep, that's the story of everybody's life. So one of the things we saw in the unit tester is that both the Lings and Banelings had speed in the unit tester. In an actual game, that speed upgrade, the centrifugal hooks, requires an upgrade. Your hatchery has to be at the next level, has to be a layer. So for now, Pewee's going to have slow banes. And since he just crushed his opponent's army, he's going to try to attack, and then I think pull back because the opponent's siege tanks will just decimate his fragile units. Or Pewee can be a boss. Behind this, you see Pewee's going up to 3 bases. He's got a bunch of extra minerals. Throw down a 3rd base. Why not? If you don't have a larva to use it, an extra base will get you more larva, and it will also get you an additional spot to mine from. And Pewee's of course also just put it on the harassment. He'll be able to make the kill here, but even if he hadn't, he would have whittled down his opponent's army.
And of course they are a bit blocked in, there we are. Surround.
And while the Lings do take larva, because they're still fairly cheap, you can do attacks like this and Wow. So BM. Bayman's in their base. It's ballsy again. I like your style.
Take this, Marines.
So UCP didn't technically kill them off, although he's, basically for all intents and purposes finished the game. Because he destroys opponent's army. And is up 2 bases. But even though he wasn't able to end the game, he was able to do a lot of damage very cost efficiently and make his lead even greater. So now just going to pick up all the SCVs. As the bandits finish, they'll destroy. They'll do a lot of splash damage. Everything will be done.
This AI is pretty relentless.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's surprising me.
Our forces are under attack.
Let's see, what is it? It's 4 harvesters to 32, so.
Yeah.
Mr. Pewy has gonna play.
Good game.
GG!
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 I am your victor!
So good.
Are you not entertained?
So entertained. That was beautiful, Pewy. That was a demonstration of how to just wipe the floor of the very hard AI.
Yeah, of a hard AI. I guess a real person that would be terrible, but yeah. And that is the closing of this episode, guys. So yeah, we went over the Zerg basics. I just wanted to show you like Zerglings and Banelings because those are the most basic of units.
Yep.
And yeah, hopefully you'll take from this, apply it to your own game, improve, and go from there. And oh yes, gotta give a shout out. So of course, a big shout out to D-eSports for of course allowing us to do the show, and then BenQ for supporting us and just giving us goodies to give out to all the viewers and that. So thank you guys. Go check them out at benq.com and d-esports.com. And of course go to the YouTube, which is YouTube Definitive Esports, and of course that's where this VOD will be listed. So thanks to them, and yeah, thank you all for watching. Take care and goodbye.